Hey, what's going on, guys? Guido here, bringing you another Black Desert Online video. Today, I'm finally going to go over the very much requested skill add-on guide for both Awakening and Succession, as well as PvE and PvP. This video is going to be cut into 4 parts. I'm going over both PvE and PvP of both Awakening and Succession, like I just said. So, I'm first going to be starting with the PvE variants of each, and then going into the PvP. So I'll start with Succession, then I'll go into Succession PvP, then I'll go to Awakening PvE, and then I'll go to Awakening PvP. And that is pretty much what I'll be doing. So pretty much to start off, the reason why I chose Storming Beast here is because it's an ability that you constantly use as a Berserker. This is an ability that you are using pretty much every time in a mob pack. You know, every time I go from a Lava Piercer, I'm always doing a stomp into a Devastation, or just stomp into a bunch of other abilities. It's pretty much constantly used. It has no cooldown. It's really cool too because the negative, the -3% evasion rating stacks with the ability itself. So you can have a -15% evasion rating. It's really nice. I'm going to go into also why it's nice to have also in PvP later on for both Awakening and Succession PvP. But overall, this is an ability that you constantly use as a Berserker in PvE, and it's just really good to have. It's, you know, like I said, no cooldown, and it's really effective all around. Amazing skill. Cannot go wrong with it. Make sure you pick it up. The next skill we're going to be going over in terms of the PvE is Fierce Strike. So people say that this is, you know, I've heard from some places that people say that this is just like an ability that you are using for PvE. That's not true. This is very critical in Succession. Fierce Strike is very critical in Succession. It's final strike after FD. So you're going to be constantly using this in both PvE and PvP constantly. So you want to make sure you definitely have this as an add-on. And it wouldn't make that much sense to put any critical add-ons on Frenzy Destroyer, as the ability itself is 100% crit. I'm going to go into my reasons for that in a second, but pretty much what I'm saying is that it would be probably in your best interest to put the critical hit rate on Fierce Strike, because then you can continue with that extra critical hit rate in your combo, since you would still kind of be at the beginning of your combos. But it's also good to have the minus DP effect on it too, because Fierce Strike in Succession naturally already has the -15 DP debuff, so you're getting minus 30 DP debuff on mobs, which is huge. That will chunk them with the extra critical hit rating. That will chunk them even more. It's great to have. It's really simple to do. I mean, you pretty much just do FD into Fierce Strike into Spin. That kills pretty much every pack in the game, essentially. If you need a debuff even more, you just do FD, Fierce Strike, Stomp, Spin to kill them even faster. So Fierce Strike, make sure you slot that. People do put the, they do put the attack speed on this. That's fine. I don't really find a need for that though, personally, since, you know, I'm going to go into that now. You're pretty much getting the attack speed from the Frenzy Destroyer in the beginning of your mob clear. So there's really no need to put the attack speed there, since pretty much every single mob pack you're getting that attack speed. And pretty much Berserker is amazing with attack speed, so there's pretty much no reason why you shouldn't run that with PvE and PvP. Attack speed on Berserker is pretty much required. So. And you use FD so much it has no cooldown, so that's why I slotted damage against monsters +20 on it for PvE, because it's just an ability that has no cooldown. It constantly resets every time you hit it on an enemy, just like every other add-on here, but it's just really good. It's always up. The monster AP is always up, and it's just naturally just very good to have. So you make sure you pick that up, because you're constantly using that in mob packs, constantly. And the attack speed will help you flow smoothly into other abilities and just clear faster. So onto the succession skills that I have slotted here. I put Predatory Hunt as my next one. This is pretty much obvious. Predatory Hunt overall is a best in slot skill for succession in both PvE and PvP. So this is going to be something that you are going to want to slot pretty much as the critical hit rate itself and the ability is 30%. The add-on is 30%. That stacks with the 30% in the skill, giving you 60%. And you have even more base crit rate naturally just from your abilities and also from your Seizing Fear, which is further increased in succession as you get more passives. So that's amazing. You can't go wrong with that. Make sure you pick that up. Um, and me personally, I put attack speed on it. You can slot the critical severity on it, which is the crit hit rate damage. If you want to do that, you can. That's fine. I just put the attack speed on it for me personally because I like the attack speed. I feel like I clear faster with it, and I'm going to get why I have that on in a second. Which brings me to Raging Thunder. This is a skill that is insane in succession, and I put the critical hit damage on here. And while I do know that it is faster with the Predatory Hunt, um, I just felt like just put it on there. Um, you can swap it out. So like if I wanted to for a second, I can go to Predatory Hunt. And you can go here. You can obviously put the attack speed on it if you want to, or you can put the critical hit damage was 5%, which is fine. You could do that, and that will work perfectly fine for both PvE and PvP. That's fine. If you want to do that, you're more than capable of doing that. That's fine. I just chose the 30% and the attack speed just because I like it. I have no problem swapping that out though. And then of course you could put the attack speed on the Raging Thunder. I put the back attack damage on the Raging Thunder because it benefits very well. When you kind of get a lot more AP, you're going to notice that you aren't exactly CCing mobs anymore, so the bulk of your damage is pretty much going to come from hitting the back of the mobs, where you will get most of your damage from, pretty much. And that's pretty much what I think about it. My next ability that I chose was Devastation, and the reason for that is pretty much just in general, you don't really have that many other abilities that you can slot. Like, sure, you can put Beastly Wind Slash if you want, but I chose Devastation in PvE because it's got such a large AoE. It flows very well from Storming Beast, and in general, as well as FD. So you can do, obviously, Devastation faster from FD or Stomp, or Fierce Strike, Final Strike. Either way, though, it's got a very large AoE, so you could put the debuff on them constantly, and it's just really nice to hit those mobs that aren't exactly in your melee range, so that you can hit them with a debuff. It's good. It'll pull them in, or it'll get their attention because of the AoE, and they're already debuffed. And that's pretty much what I did for my add-ons. If you guys want to change anything here, feel free. Now we're going to move into the PvP. So for PvP, it's not really that much different, but there is a few slight things that you can see, obviously, that have changed. I'm going to get into those reasons. I'm going to reiterate some points, so we're going to start from the top. So again, Storming Beast. I chose this because you are constantly using this. You're using this to catch people in PvP. Use this within combos to cancel abilities like Ancient Wave, Devastation, FD. You use it for a debuff. Stiffen, like I said, you're using Storming Beast for an FG. It's just nice to have. You're constantly using this ability. It would be hurting you a lot more not to use this. It also, like I said, gives you more damage in PvP. Really good debuff. Constantly using this. Pick it up, please. I'm telling you. The next ability that I chose was Smackdown. This ability is just all around too good, bread and butter. Just way too good not to use. So first off, start your damaging combos. You're using Smackdown constantly in pretty much every form ever. if you're not catching them with lateral, like side RT, Raging Thunder side, Raging Thunder, if you're not catching them with Storming Beast, you're always using Smackdown. Is my point here. Okay, you're constantly using Smackdown. It's your bread and butter grapple. It's just dumb not to have an add-on for it. And the PvP damage on it will give you a good damage to start off the combo with, and it is just really good to get the momentum going. And the attack speed will help you flow very smoothly into the combo and make sure that you can do it fast enough to initiate. So that it's not slow and that they can pretty much just get up and pretty much just escape from the combo. So that's a very good add-on to have. Good momentum, good chaining into other abilities, good flow. It's really good to have. Pick it up. It also does some pretty good damage at absolute. The next ability, and I just talked about this before in the PvE, but Fear Strike. In PvP, this does stack yet again the all DP minus 15. So you want to make sure that you have this up to minus 15 DP. People put it on the Frenzy Destroyer, but for me, I did things a little bit differently. I'm going to get into that. But I left pretty much this the same as PvE because you are using this constantly. I didn't feel a need to put the attack speed on it since I'm pretty much using FD constantly in combos in PvP and PvE. And I chose to give it the maximum damage potential, which is the critical hit rate with the all DP minus 15, which stacks. So it's very good. Absolutely amazing. It transfers over to your beast form and transfers over just very nicely into all of your combos in PvP. Cannot go wrong with it. Make sure you pick that up. So the next skill I chose was Frenzy Destroyer, obviously. The attack and casting speed on it is 7%. This will allow you to smoothly transition and flow into combos. This overlaps the Smackdown timer, so it'll go from 4 to 7%, gaining 3% more attack speed. So it's really nice. You'll be able to pretty much kill people faster, overall do a lot more DPS, and chain smoothly more into other abilities and combos pretty much. I put the critical hit damage plus 3% on this ability since Frenzy Destroyer has a 100% crit rate. And usually I would put the accuracy on this ability, but you don't need to since you use Storming Beast a lot in your combos, whether you're doing the ultimate stomp from side RT or you are using the knee kick on them while you grapple them from Smackdown or from an Undertaker from Corpse Storm. Overall, just too good to have. It's FD, 100% crit rate, just crit damage. You're going to be chunking people a lot harder with this. So you make sure you pick that up. The next skill is Predatory Hunt. This is the same thing before. You can change this if you want from the critical hit rate or the attack speed. I chose the attack speed for both PvE and PvP, so you could swap it out. I swap it out from time to time, but I mostly keep the attack speed on Predatory Hunt because when I dive in with the 200% or even my normal spin, the extra attack speed, it takes the wind up time that you're transforming into the beast very fast, and it kind of ignores that. Excuse me. And just overall attack speed just transfers into more damage, which is really good. Trying to find a balance here. So, if you like the attack speed, go with the attack speed. If you like the critical hit rate, go with the critical hit rate. I just feel like I have it within a lot of my combos with FD, but you can argue that, it's better for large scale, but 30-minute cooldown, you're not really going to be using that 200% that much. So, however, Predatory Hunt does have a decent accuracy rating on it, so you could use it, and honestly, it's got a 60% critical hit rating since that 30% critical hit rate add-on, that's pretty much universal. If you're in Succession, you have to run that. So that constantly stays on, and the only thing that you can swap out with Predatory Hunt is pretty much just the attack speed or the critical hit rate damage. The critical severity damage, whatever you want to call it, 5% critical damage. So that's pretty much the only thing that you can do there. It will obviously give you more damage, but I like the attack speed on it. It's just really nice. um, my next one I chose was Raging Thunder. I put the PvP damage plus 10 on it, and I put the attack and casting speed plus 7%. So I chose the PvP damage plus 10 because overall in PvP I don't really have that kind of here in this entire build, and there's really no better ability to put it on than Raging Thunder, other than your Smackdown. And that's mainly because it chunks. Like when you have all your add-ons on somebody, this is and then you have this proccing. It just chunks the shit out of people, like tremendously. And I put the attack and casting speed on it because sometimes you won't have time to FD people, or you won't have time to hit people with Predatory Hunt. Let's say if you had the critical severity damage on it over the attack speed. Sometimes you don't have time for that, and the spin will give you that attack speed that you need. But mostly, I use it for side RT, so that's one of your main catches. And I'm going to be going over this in my combo guide video for Succession. But you pretty much, for initiation and pretty much combos, you're always using side RT into Storming Beast, which is Stomp. So you're using side RT, side Raging Thunder into Storming Beast, which is, we call it Stomp. You're just stomping the ground, the ultimate stomp. And it makes the animation go faster when you get a successful contact with Raging Thunder. It's unprotected, it's all unprotected, but it's your main CC. You're using this constantly in PvP. Side RT in Succession, you are using non-stop. So make sure you pick this up. Like I said, if you want to change some things, that's fine. But for me personally, in PvP in Succession, I chose the attack speed on Predatory Hunt, and sometimes I will swap that out for the critical hit damage. So feel free to change whatever you like. Now we're going to move into Awakening PvE. So moving on into more of the Awakening PvE side of things, I think I've talked about Storming Beast enough for you guys to understand what it is and how useful it is, spammable, etc., and how you pretty much just use it constantly as a Berserker. The one thing I want to note though, however, is that Storming Beast in Awakening, the Absolute version, is a lot more reliable than the Prime version. What I mean by that is that it's a lot easier and faster to chain from the ultimate stomp of Storming Beast in Awakening as opposed to Succession with the Prime. Just keep that in mind. Frenzy Destroyer in Awakening PvE, I decided to put the damage against monsters plus 20 and the all DP minus 15. The damage against monsters on FD, to me, was just a good idea whether I was Succession or Awakening, because it's just a skill that you are constantly using. It's one of the first go-to skills that you're using when you're going into another pack. Of course, you can say the same thing about General Disarray or Ground Lift. I'm going to get to that in a second, though. You can either put the damage against monsters on FD or Ground Lift. It doesn't really matter. But the all DP minus 15 is huge because that will make sure that the mobs take a lot more damage and they're just debuffed. Make sure you pick that up. Like I said, you can put the damage against monsters on the Ground Lift, which also affects General Disarray. You can move stuff around if you want to. For my third add-on, here I put back attack damage and critical hit damage on Raging Thunder. The skill has abominable accuracy rating, but when you're stomping right before a spin, so you would do FD stomp spin, sometimes to clear a pack. This usually would give you enough accuracy to clear the pack reliably, even though that the accuracy rating of Raging Thunder, the absolute version, is horrible. I put the back attack and critical hit damage because in higher tier mob areas, I've already said this, but you're going to notice that you're not seeing mobs as much, and back attack damage is a more significant thing than the lower end mobs of the game, pretty much. So that was my choice for that. I need to mention though, some things here are most likely going to change, and of course I'm going to probably do an update video on that. But pretty much you're going to be able to use all of your awakening skills as pretty much add-ons. So I would most likely change out Raging Thunder for Slugfest. So I'm just letting you guys know that right now. For the awakening ones for Ground Lift, I put the critical hit rate plus 20% because you need a skill that can kind of keep up sustainable amounts of crit in the middle of battle. I also put the attack slash casting speed plus 7% on it because you constantly use it from Lava Piercer. And Ground Lift also affects General Disarray, so just keep that in mind also. Um, General Disarray takes the skill add-ons from Ground Lifting pretty much. So this is also a skill that you can put the damage against monsters on, but I had a little bit change of philosophy about that, and I'm going to get to that now. The only thing, again, mentioning about ground lifting, excuse me, is the fact that General Disarray is affected by ground lift add-ons. Just please keep that in mind. Devastation, I put the damage against monsters plus 20%. Recently, we finally have the capability to put Earth Dividing on a hotbar that replaced Corpse Storm for a lot of Zergers. I know for me that's what it was. And I put the General Disarray, Earth Dividing, sorry. Put Earth Dividing in place of Corpse Storm for both PvE and PvP. And Earth Dividing is completely correlated to Devastation. So the add-ons of Devastation affect Earth Dividing, and vice versa. So you can constantly keep up enough monster damage. That's the point here. You're trying to keep up as much monster damage as you can possibly, and you're trying to just always have it up. And having those two skills separated, you could even argue that you don't even need monster damage on FD. But I just like keeping it up consistently because there is a little bit of a gap of time, and mobs, as you go to the higher level, are a lot more tankier, and honestly, Awakening's damage is pretty bad. So you're not going to be clearing packs as fast as Succession, in my opinion. Putting the attack and casting speed on it is just so that you can flow through combos faster, and you can pretty much just keep up with the fluidity in combos in PvE. I said that before, but it's pretty much the same thing. The last thing here is a little bit debatable, but I put Titan Blow here, mainly for the fact because I really had no idea what else to put here. It's not like that the change for the rest of the Awakening add-ons are here, so I couldn't just mix and match what I wanted, or put more pre-Awakening add-ons here. There's really nothing good. Honestly, to be honest with you guys, Berserker has abominable add-ons, and it's on the worst skills, and none of the tier timers really make any sense in regards to the skills like Wrath of Beast or Ire of Beast are literally 45 seconds long, but they're like a T2 or something, like they're really bad, or whatever it is. I know it's not a T3. But anyways, Titan Blow here. Titan Blow pretty much affects Split Shot and Ancient Wave. So those are two skills that you can kind of use as filler damage in PvE, as well as PvP. And I put the all DP minus 20 for mob clear, and I also put the critical hit damage plus 5. And that's pretty much my PvE Awakening add-on skills. This is going to change, like I said, with Slugfest being introduced that you can probably finally use. We have to just see how it goes. And I will be making sure to add that in here somewhere. So there will be an update video on that. Let's move on to the final part, which is the PvP for Awakening. So finally, now that we're moving on into the Awakening PvP side of things, I'm going to be honest with you, this is really hard even for me to give advice on because there is so many kind of different things that you can do in different situations. I would say for an overall build, this is probably something that you're looking at on your screen that you would want. However, when we are able to use Slugfest, and also Flamebuster, I would even argue that you could even move certain skills around to fit Flamebuster, and you can put -3 evasion rate and plus 3% accuracy rating on it, as that's huge for Awakening large scale. So there's a lot of different kind of things that you can do here. But in terms of your 1v1 small scale fights, this is probably going to be a lot of relatively the thing that you're going to look for. Titan Blow, Bond gives it full FG in normal damage, full FG in BSR, full, the add-ons transfer to Ancient Wave and Split Shot, massive amounts of damage you can do on people. The potential to, at least. And I don't know. I mean, there's a bunch of different stuff that you can honestly move around here. So, I mean, it's kind of hard. You have to find whatever works for you. I definitely wish I could fit a spot in here where I can put Flamebuster. Um, but I'm going to go through yet again and tell you why I did what I did. But that's just a little disclaimer. Awakening PvP, in my opinion, is just such a mess in terms of what's good. I think that if you're a large scale player, though, you need to definitely put on the Flamebuster add-on. So for me, it's a little bit different here, since this is a trial character that you're looking at on your screen. And I just went on here just because it was easier, but you definitely, if you're a Awakening Zerk in a large scale scenario, the minus 3% evasion and the plus 3% accuracy rating are the best in slot add-ons. I was reading in the Zerk Discord the other day, this guy was debating with like Meng about add-ons. It was hurting my brain. Don't listen to anybody. Get the accuracy and minus evasion on Flamebuster. That is definitely going to be the best thing that you are going to want. And the bond skills definitely pick up ground lifting or Titan Blow. The rest are pretty niche and kind of suck. We kind of got the short end of the stick yet again with those bond skills. But anyways, back to the main point that we were here to actually talk about. Storming Beast, I'm not even going to talk about that anymore. You guys already know. It's better. It's faster. It's nice to use. You can do it in combos, bunch of different variety of things. Smackdown, yet again, it's a good initiator. It's good to flow into your combos, doing a good, solid amount of damage to start the combo off, the initiation, and it'll flow smoothly. It also stacks pretty well with Buster training. FD in Pre-Awakening, I put the attack speed plus 7% and the all DP minus 15, just because that will give you a lot of initial burst damage. You use FD constantly in both Succession and Awakening so much. So having FD there is pretty much needed. You need an FD add-on there. You use it so much in combos. It's like your main source of damage in Awakening and mostly Awakening. Not really in Succession. Succession you use it every 6 seconds, but it's huge for Awakening. It's literally like your main damage. So keeping up that DP debuff on targets as well as the attack speed, that will help you tremendously in combos. And pretty much because of the attack speed on FD, I pretty much felt for ground lifting that I didn't even need the attack speed anymore. They used to be best in slot to put the 4% attack speed on ground lift. I replaced it with PvP damage because it's kind of nice to have with the add-ons that you see here, kind of the whole package in terms of stacking all the add-ons together. You use ground lifting and general disarray a lot in combos with Ancient Wave and Titan Blow, etc. So it's really good to have a add-on on ground lifting. Like I said again, it directly affects general disarray, so make sure you pick that up. Having that critical hit rate chance is also good in combos. It'll give your combos a lot more damage. It just pairs really well with PvP damage as well. You're getting both crit rate and AP. So for Devastation, skill is really good ever since they made us use Earth Dividing on the hotbar, now that we can do that. So you can pretty much perma slow stack people, and it really, really helps against these annoying little rodents in PvP that iframe everywhere, and or just people who have like shields, like everybody in this game now. So it's really nice to just slow them, and they can't kill you instantly or maneuver around instantly, and it's funny because they cry so hard in chat. Oh my god, Zerg slows. Oh my god. Oh, I'm upset. Oh my god, Zerg slow OP. Shut up, dude. Anyways, it's really good to have both the movement and the attack speed slash casting speed debuff on there. That's, in my opinion, that's way more fit for duels. I could definitely see this being replaced in large scale for a like either the Flamebuster or the Slugfest. Like I said though, I'm gonna have to check that out for myself so I can make an update video on that. But like I said, if you're doing Flamebuster, make sure you put on the accuracy rating and the subtraction, the minus evasion. But this is more of a small scale dual awakening thing for me. Can't stress it enough. If you're doing Flamebuster large scale and you want to rock Flamebuster, make sure you're putting on accuracy minus evasion. Okay. But yeah, this slow will really help you a lot. My last one, I put Titan Blow. One last time, pretty much Titan Blow also affects two other abilities, Split Shot and Ancient Wave. So that minus 20 DP debuff will absolutely chunk opponents. And that critical hit rate is huge as well because Titan Blow has 100% crit on it, which is massive. So you're going to be doing a lot of damage to people. The only thing that I can say about Titan Blow that you could argue to move is the attack speed on it. I mean, you can definitely swap it with attack speed. I mean, gives you like the add-on is a T3, so you can put a 10% attack speed on it, which is really cool. So that is an option if you choose to do so. But Awakening is such a debatable kind of thing with certain add-ons and placements and kind of what you want to run. So just spec it to kind of what your playstyle is and what you do. That's with all of these add-ons. Obviously, there's some add-ons here that you can't debate about, like Predatory Hunt in Succession, or having to put on add-ons on FT and Ground Lift. Like those are you know you need those kinds of things. Tell me what your guys' add-ons are in the comments. I'd love to hear what you guys run. But I'm definitely gonna have to make an update video. I'm going to make a Bond video, core skills for both Awakening and when we get it for Succession as well. The combo video guide for Succession is coming, and I need to make a update video when we get those skill add-on changes with Awakening and Pre-Awakening, because that's going to be very interesting. So just keep that in mind and keep your guys' selves informed, man. It's definitely Slugfest and Flamebuster are things to really look out for Awakening, both PvE and PvP. Flamebuster more so for PvP, large scale, Node Wars, etc. But yeah, let me know what you guys run in the comments. There's gonna be, like I said, tons of more content coming. There's new videos every week. A new video posted every week. I'm streaming every other day on Twitch. Make sure to give me a follow. And yeah, talk to you guys later, man. Thank you, everybody.